I am never drinking again. I cannot even think about that. Alcohol. How much is too much? What's the line between binge drinking and alcoholism? Let's talk about it after the intro. This is Real Life Psych. For those of you who don't know, my name's Alexa Asimos, and I'm a licensed therapist as well as certified drug and alcohol abuse counselor. Welcome to my channel, Real Life Psych, where we break down everyday struggles and analyze their impact on our mental and physical health. As always, new episodes come out every not so scary Sunday. That's what we're calling them because Sundays really don't have to be so scary as long as we take the time to reflect. So before you drag yourself out of bed to start on those errands you've been procrastinating on for so long, we can have a nice little pep talk to springboard you into the coming week. Today's topic, binge drinking versus alcohol use disorder, better known as alcoholism. At some point in many people's lives, you might find yourself face down at the bottom of the toilet regretting every single thing you did the night before. Of course, a few hours later, you're going through the last night recap where everyone catches themselves up on the events that might have been a little too foggy to remember. And it's all smiles and laughs until everyone goes their separate ways and you're left alone to pick up and reflect on the pieces. You ask yourself, do I have a problem? Well, let's talk. Let's start with binge drinking first, because according to the CDC, binge drinking is the most common, costly, and deadly pattern of excessive alcohol use in the United States. And who is mostly affected? You guessed it, young people. As you can see, this article by the CDC suggests that binge drinking is most common among younger adults aged 18 to 34 years old. But more than half of the total binge drinks are consumed by those aged 35 and older. Furthermore, binge drinking is twice as common among men than among women. Now, let's define it. Binge drinking is defined as having 4 drinks in a setting for women and 5 drinks in a setting for men. A sitting is 2 hours or so. 4 or 5 drinks in 2 hours might seem like a lot, but after 4 rounds of flip cup, loser takes a shot, not to mention your drink on the side, well, congrats, you've helped contribute to a national epidemic. I say that because binge drinking does come with its consequences, short and long term. In the short term, it increases risks of alcohol poisoning, motor vehicle accidents, and STDs, to name a few. In the long term, it increases risks of liver disease, heart disease, cancer, as well as increases risk for mental health issues like depression and anxiety. But here's where binge drinking gets even stickier. Individuals who binge drink 5 or more times during a month are considered heavy alcohol users. That might seem like a lot, but for some people, this is as simple as binging once every weekend. And maybe add a Thirsty Thursday or a 25-cent wing Wednesday, and you've entered an even more at-risk group. Because according to the American Addiction Centers, heavy drinkers have a significantly higher chance at developing alcohol use disorder, which simply means a dependence or alcoholism. So we already understand the consequences of binging, but now add a disorder, and your ability to stop is a lot harder. But here's the good news. The CDC also says that despite the fact that heavy alcohol users have a higher chance of becoming dependent, the majority of binge drinkers will not develop alcoholism, which means that your ability to stop when you feel like stopping is a little bit easier than those who become dependent. Alcohol is scary enough when consumed once and in the moment, but an inability to put it down is even scarier. When it comes to alcohol use disorder, how much you drink no longer matters. The bigger question is how alcohol is affecting your life. Go to the DSM-5 chart to define alcohol use disorder. Essentially, you need to have 2 of the following 11 criteria, but the more you have, the higher your severity. As a screening tool, you can ask yourself or a loved one all of the following. Now, because this is lengthy and there's 11 criteria, I had to pull out the source. So I'm gonna go through these with you verbatim so that I don't steer you wrong. So what to ask yourself is, do you have a hard time cutting down? Do you drink more or longer than intended? Do you drink more even if you try to stop or cut down? Do you spend a lot of time drinking or being sick as a result of that? Do you want to drink so badly that you couldn't think of anything else? Did you find that you oftentimes were sick of drinking because it interfered with your ability to take care of your family, school, or work? Did you continue even if it caused issues with friends or family? Did you continue because it interfered with your activities or being able to do things that you used to like? Has it gotten you in a situation where it's dangerous, where you could get hurt, like driving while under the influence? Have you continued to drink even though it added maybe depression or feelings of anxiety? Is your tolerance up? The amount that used to get you drunk, do you now need more of it? And on the flip side of that, it's withdrawal. Do you get sick from not having alcohol? However severe the problem may seem, most people with alcohol use disorder can benefit from treatment. Unfortunately, less than 10% of them receive any type of treatment at all. As I wrap this video, I want you to pay close attention to yourself and the people around you. So many times I've seen people get on social media and play the game, who's going to get the drunkest tonight? Unfortunately, these guesses are based off of observed patterns of behavior. And as we discussed, the more that binging becomes a pattern, the bigger the consequences. So I ask of you the following things. Pay close attention to why you're drinking. Is it celebratory? Are you coping or relieving anxiety and stress? Celebrations are few and far between, but remember that alcohol does not solve any underlying issues you may have. If you are using alcohol to cope with any mental burdens, try to find alternatives when it comes to these, in order to show yourself that there are other ways to navigate these emotions. Pay close attention to the effect it's having on your daily life. Is your ability to focus at school or perform at your job being affected? If so, it might be time to stop and seek help. Finally, do not feel ashamed to seek counseling if you're headed in the wrong direction. This may not only improve your quality of life, but help you out in the long term, physically, mentally, and financially. And friends and family, do not be afraid to delicately bring these issues to your loved ones either. The faster we can recognize the effects, the better our chances are of overcoming them. In future videos, we'll discuss in detail treatment options. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Life Psych. If you like this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Sundays don't have to be so scary when we can get together and reflect. See you next week.